We recognise that the utility industry is not just operating in a vacuum. So there are a number of megatrends. The megatrend towards environmental sustainability, James talked about, and we talked about earlier about how we think more and more renewable generation will be applied. But there are other trends as well. Personally, when I first came here, I spent my first week hooked into the call centre to listen to the calls that were going on between businesses and customers and the utility. And I think that when you do a compare and contrast to the types of tools and services that other industries have, utilities, I think, are falling behind in the way that they adopt change. So, a number of industries that we've looked at, FedEx, Amazon, etc., relatively new industries, you can track parcels, you will have information available to you as and when you want it. And I think that we did a compare and contrast with how utilities tend to operate. So, rising expectations of customer service and different tools for customer service were part of the consideration. The iPhone is something that my children particularly enjoy, and my children have more apps on their iPhone than I can personally understand. But they use those apps, and they're used to using those apps to get the services that they want. And again, that type of technological approach towards utilities and utility billing is a trend that we've got to embrace. And mass collaboration, Facebook, social networking sites, etc., is another interesting approach towards how customers will share data and get information. So it's not that long ago the word Google or to Google something was not known. Now it's just a common everyday term. People understand exactly how to use the power of the internet. The other technology we talked about briefly is plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. This is the vehicle that we have down in on the first floor. It's a Ford plug-in hybrid vehicle. And I really think this will have a significant impact on utility industries. The concept being the car has an engine, a conventional gas engine, but also you can plug it into the network, you can charge it overnight, you can drive on clean energy. The vehicle that we've had, we're trying to understand how customers will use it and the impact that it will have on the grid. It will create some challenges, but also some fantastic opportunities. Some of the challenges that we're wrestling with is I may well drive this vehicle to your house. It could be plugged into your house. It could use the energy from your house. But the bill should go onto my bill. So, understanding where the energy is being used, at what prices the energy should be charged, and optimizing the opportunity about using clean energy is a significant challenge. But like the stimulus bill, the American auto industry has been giving strong incentives through federal means to be able to make the leap towards new technologies. Our pilot plans, we have 5 pilot areas. Our approach has been to look for 2 pilots in New York, 2 pilots in Massachusetts, and a pilot in Rhode Island. The logic about this approach is we can see a northeast series of pilots. We can share costs between the individual pilots. Some of the technology requires a fixed cost investment, and that investment can be shared across different parties. So, National Grid's approach towards the DOE application and towards how we're trying to position ourselves has got a number of different features. One of them, associated with the state of Massachusetts, I think is all about collaboration. So when we looked at developing the first pilot, which is in Worcester, we worked with the learning institutions, Clark, WPI. We worked with the city office and the mayor. We worked with the DPU. We tried to create a community by which we could consider the problem and consider some of the solutions. And I think that it was a model about how we are going to develop pilots, and we've exported that same type of approach to the other 4 pilots that we've looked at. The technology that we intend to deploy will provide all of the services that I've described, but we have the potential also to add to those services clean energy technologies such as renewables, such as plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. And I think we'll create a flagship project which will link in with other projects both in the United States and across the world. So when we think about smart grid, we've seen Boulder in Colorado provide a smart grid example. Frankfurt, Berlin, Shanghai, there are several other cities which are undertaking various different versions of the smart grid. And I think that creating this network of different cities and sharing experiences as well, both in the US and outside, will both be competitive. We would like Worcester, and we would like our Massachusetts cities to be as successful, more successful than any other, but it'll also create a wider collaboration. So in conclusion, I think that we are on the verge of a fundamental shift in the way that we'll think about energy. We think that customers need and will have new tools to be able to manage their energy. We think that the service paradigm for utilities to talk to and interface with customers is going to have to fundamentally shift, and that smart grid's a key enabler for that. And we think that the environment for policy in the state and policy nationally as well is going to encourage the take-up of smart grid. We don't think that we know all of the answers for sure, but the technological approach that we've taken and the approach with customers, we believe will provide insight into how smart grid will evolve. And some of the services that we think customers will ask for and demand will come from other industries. So customers who experience online banking, for example, they will be used to receiving an alert when a significant transaction happens in their bank account or when preset limits were agreed. We think the same thing will happen with energy, and some of the focus groups that we've done, people have said, I would like to have an alert when I have spent X amount of dollars, and I'd like you to deliver this alert to me in this particular way, text message, email, etc. We think that customers will come to expect and demand these type of services, and the functionality that we will provide will satisfy that need. So I think in conclusion, the 2 areas of the energy chain that we originally talked about, a change in the way that generation mix will evolve, and the customer service elements are both a fundamental part of this process. We have applied for funding with the DOE. We are anticipating that we may hear from the DOE in late November or early December. Subject to approval with the DPU, we will be ready to start mobilizing the pilot early next year. And for the businesses and for the customers who are inside the pilot area, I look forward to seeing you again shortly. Thanks very much.